Hey guys, welcome to the Gods Unchained beta with the Professor. Alright, it's time for our Monday Mythic meta for the ranked weekend event that ran on November 12th, 13th, and 14th. Let's take a look at our results. Here's our top 20 players. First place walking away with 23 wins out of 25. Well done. We have 4 players with 22 wins, rounding out our top 5. And then we have several players tied with 21 wins, fighting it out for the last 5 spots. We're coming in here at the 9th place position with 21 wins. However, these are unofficial results. So when the official results are published, we'll see what the final MMR ranking comes out to and who gets to take the last spots in the top 10. Let's go into more details. In our top 20, we can see that nature was widely represented. 12 of our top 20 players played a nature deck. We had 3 players each that played war and deception. 2 players played death, and there were no players in the top 20 that played magic or light. In our top 10, death took 1st and 10th place. Nature took 2nd, and 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And war took 3rd place. Our top deck was death with 23 wins. The best nature and war deck finished with 22 wins. The best deception deck had 21 wins. And then the best magic and light deck I found had 20 wins. 20 wins is really good, however, it wasn't enough to be in the top 20. For our deck types, we see the split continues with 14 of our top 20 players playing an aggro deck, 5 players playing a control deck, and 1 player playing a mid-range deck. Let's look at our top decks in more detail. Our top death deck had 23 wins. This one's a control death deck with the Blood Ritual God Power. We have our early stall and removal cards with Siren of the Grave, Ragnarok, Sulfuric Rain, Blight Bomb. We have several heals with Fleshbind, Just a Nibble. We have our removals with Eva, Baroness of the Dead, Nefru, Apocalypse Now, End Times. And we have late game cards like Demogorgon and Polyhymnia. Our best nature deck managed 22 wins. This one's an aggro nature deck with the Flourish God Power. This one's a really low curve deck with half the deck costing 1 or 2 mana. You have your usual strong early cards from nature, Underbrush Boar, Faith and Blade, Canopy Barrage, Finian Fruitbear. You have strong mid-game nature cards to supplement with Selena, Mooncray Cyclops, a Jaguar Staff, and a Brazen Moose. Our best war deck finished with 22 wins. This one's an aggro war deck with the Slayer God Power. This deck curves out really low with 23 cards costing 1 or 2 mana. Tops out at 4 mana with 4 cards, 2 copies of Sites of the Harvest, and 2 copies of Archangel Bruiser. This deck runs several relics with 2 copies of Enduring Shield, 2 copies of Valka's Captain, and the 2 copies of the Sites of the Harvest. You have notable war cards like Out of Misery, Master Tactician, Audi, Valka's Herald, and Raid Reveler. Our best deception deck managed 21 wins. This one's a control deception deck with the Flip God Power. This deception deck focuses on controlling and stalling in the early game, and then shifting over to mass removals later on. You have control cards like Spellbound, Stoneskin Poison, Sleep Dart, Hunting Trap, Golden Curse, and then you have your mass effect cards like Elixir of the Panther, Exercise, Elixir of the Snake, Rapture Dance, A Toast to Peace. We have your endgame cards with Anti-Magic Expert, Demogorgon, and Polyhymnia. Our best light deck had 20 wins, and this one's an aggro light deck with the Heal God Power. You have strong early cards from light with the Cudgel the Atonement, Blind Martyr, Empyrean Pacifist, Olympian Guard, Light's Levy, Watchful Hound, the Radiant Dawn, and Highborn Knight. You supplement that with strong mid-game cards like CERN and Canonize. And one unique thing about this deck is instead of topping out with Asterias, it tops out at 6 mana with Lysander. Swapping in Lysander here instead of Asterias makes sense since this deck is not running the Summon Acolyte God Power, and several of the creatures here have greater than 2 attack, and also you have Radiant Dawn to boost the attack even further. Our best magic deck had 20 wins. This one's an aggro magic deck with the Mage Bolt God Power. This is a low curve deck that focuses on cheap minions and early removal spells. We have strong early cards from Magic like Shadow Scryer, Flying Carpet, Assistant Alchemist, You have removal cards in the form of Power, Star Shard Bolt, Tracking Bolt. Another good early card is Demetrius and the Oni Spell Sword with the Miraculous Familiar. You have additional value cards like Vow of Learning and direct damage with Worm Breath and Epiphany. Taking a look at our meta snapshot for the weekend ranked at the Mythic level, we can see that Nature is overwhelmingly popular with 42% of the Mythic players playing a Nature deck. To go along with the high popularity, you have the highest win rate at 52%. Nature has a positive win rate across all 5 gods. The second most popular god to play at the Mythic level is War at 20% and about a 50% win rate here. The second highest win rate god is Deception at 50% with a decent representation of 10%. Deception has a positive win rate over War, Death, and Light. Our least represented god is Death at 5.9% with a 46% win rate and has unfavorable matchups across the board. With the same win rate as Death, Light has slightly more representation at 8% and manages positive win rates over Magic and Death. Updating our top 10 scoreboard with results from last week, we can see Caution Fund jumping into the top 5 here now, moving up 2 spots with his first place finish last week. Another big mover here, we have Doubtless jumping into the 14th spot. He moves up 13 places. Doubtless has been really consistent the last few weekend ranks, placing in the top 10 regularly. And our last big mover is Aftermath, moving up 7 places here, thanks to a top 10 finish last week. All right, so here's a list of our top players again. Here we are at 9th place, holding on. Let's see what happens when the official results come out, hoping to get some extra prizes for finishing in the top 10. We'll find out the official results and everyone will receive their packs later this week, so good luck on your packs when you receive them.